Thank you very much. And is it still morning? Good morning. First of all, I'd like to obviously thank the Trust for inviting me to come up to Port Macquarie. And I'd like to say to you that you think that my journey up here started yesterday afternoon when I got on the plane. A nice hour-long flight. But in fact, my journey to come and see you here today started 25 years ago. All right, it's been a very long journey. 25 years ago, I was a tutor and I was teaching the medical students. And I had a particular student who impressed me very much. And I can remember saying to him, "Nader, you're going to be a wonderful doctor someday." And as usual, I was right. Nader rang me and invited me to come up, and of course I couldn't possibly say no. I'm a girl. I'm a girl who just can't say no, obviously. And I had the honour of being asked by Associate Professor Prem Rashid to contribute a chapter to his wonderful book on prostate cancer. And my chapter was about sexuality and prostate cancer. And I would like to encourage any of you who have had treatment or are being treated for prostate cancer to talk about the sexual aspects with your doctor, with your specialist, your GP, or the urology nurse, because sexuality is a very important part of the treatment of prostate cancer. Now, my talk today is called Good Loving Great Sex. And I want to tell you that I never planned to become a sex therapist. Right? When I was a little girl, I didn't say to Mummy, "When I grow up, Mum, I want to get paid for talking dirty in public." Right? In fact, when I was a little girl, what I wanted to do was to become a missionary. However, I became a doctor. I went into general practice, and one of the things that I noticed was that nobody ever talked about their sexual problems. So I started asking, and all of a sudden the floodgates opened because everybody wanted to talk to me about their sexual problems. And over time, I gave up general practice and became a sex therapist. So I suppose you could say I've gone from missionary to missionary position. Now, why would a medical doctor be interested in sex and relationships? All right? There's a very, very good reason, and that is that sex is good for you. Now, we might say it's good for you because it burns kilojoules. If you have sex once a week, over a year, you will burn 10,000 kilojoules, which is equivalent to 10 Mars bars. All right? All right? Sex could be good for you because you get release of endorphins, which reduce pain. So if you've got a stiff neck or achy joints or you're feeling uncomfortable, maybe you've got a headache. You used to think that saying, "I've got a headache," was an excuse not to have sex. Well, I'm here to tell you that having sex could actually improve your headache. Sorry, girls. But in fact, the reason that sex is good for you is because lovemaking is a specialised form of touching, skin-on-skin touching. Now, I want to talk to you a bit about the healing power of touch. When I was an intern at hospital, I was in the neonatal intensive care unit. And that's, of course, where they have these little premature babies in the humidicribs. Now, this was a long time ago. But we were told expressly, do not touch the babies, they will die, all right? The idea was that they would get some kind of cardiac arrhythmia and they would drop dead. So nobody ever touched the babies. They just stayed like that in the humidicrib, sometimes for weeks and weeks and weeks. Does anybody know what they do with the premies now? It's called kangaroo care. It was invented here in Australia. Now you can see this little baby's tubed up. It's got a nasogastric tube going in, so it's not even able to feed itself. It's not even able to suck. It is so premature, such a tiny little thing. But they put it down the front of mum's shirt or dad's shirt right, for skin-on-skin touching, and a more stable heart rate, exactly the opposite of what we were told. More regular breathing, longer periods of sleep, more rapid weight gain, more rapid brain development, less crying, more successful breastfeeding, and earlier hospital discharge. These babies survive and thrive if you give them skin-on-skin touching.